says, that is the key. Choose one chair. Learn to say no. And sometimes we have to say no to the good to get to the best. Ask God for help. Learn how to say no. Third thing that Jesus teaches is this. Know when to take a break. Know when to take a break. Managing the pace of life sometimes meaning know when it is that I got to say, I need a breather. I need a time out. I need something that just says, I gotta take off. I gotta go this place. I gotta. Whatever's a stress relief for you, find that place. What does the Bible say? As often as possible, Jesus withdrew to out-of-the-way places for prayer. As often as possible, Jesus went off and took a break. We often think of Jesus, all he did, he was 3 years of ministry, and all he did was work for those 3 years. That's not true. He often took times to look for a break. We have a story actually in Matthew chapter 14. Jesus hears that John the Baptist has died. John the Baptist was his cousin, was a front runner of his ministry. And Jesus says in Matthew 14:13, I need to take a break. Let's get away for a while. I need to be alone. And so they try to do that. They're unsuccessful, but they try to do that. Then there's a story in Luke 10 where Jesus goes into the home of Mary and Martha. This is a very familiar story. I don't want to spend too much time on it because we're going to talk about it next week. But Jesus goes in and he says to Martha, Martha, you need to take a break. You need to take a break. And only you know your body. Only you know how your own spirit and how in your own limitations. Only you can say, I really need a break at this time. No one else can do that for you. There was a story about a man who saw the great storyteller Aesop playing childish games with some little boys. And he laughed and he jeered at Aesop and he said to him, why are you wasting your time with such frivolous activities? And as the story goes, Aesop picked up a bow and he loosened the string and placed it on the ground. And then he explained, if you always keep the bow bent, it will eventually break. But if you let it go slack, it will be fit to use anytime you want it. People are like that too. Sometimes we need to let ourselves go slack before the Lord. Sometimes we just have to allow God to minister us in his peace and his rest. And the best way to cope with the busyness of life is to get away from it from a little while. I mean, the passage says Jesus, as often as he could, went away to other places. I was actually, as I was reading over my sermon again, I was looking at, in my Bible here, and I happened to I always buy Bibles that have really wide margins, so I can write in them. And at the top of this one, I have the different times in the book of Mark where Jesus actually goes away and prays. Gets away, takes the time out. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times in the book of Mark where it says Jesus went away. Jesus went away. He took time off. Weekend away. That type of thing. And time after time after time, it was when he had periods of busyness. And whenever there was a big period of business, you always read the next line, Jesus went away for a little while. And it wasn't a long time. He just took a break. He had that time to let down. I was actually reading that during the French Revolution, they actually outlawed Sunday as a day of rest. They said everybody should work for 7 hours a day. And they had to repeal the law because the health of their nation had collapsed. God didn't wire you to run around like the Energizer Bunny. as much as you sometimes feel that you have to. He didn't wire you that way. In fact, he gave us a day off for a reason. God says the Bible says on the seventh day, God rested. And we think, well, I've got to be better than God. I'm going to work all the time. There's got to be one day that you say, that's it. Take a break. I need this time alone. You deserve a break today at McDonald's. Young people are going, I don't get it. It's an old commercial. And I know of no better place to rest than in the person of Jesus Christ. In fact, he says in Matthew chapter 11, verse 28, come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will what? Give you rest. Everyone who is burdened, everyone who has this managing the pace of their life, and they just seem to be running on that wheel and they can't seem to get off. Everybody, come to me and I will give you rest. How do we manage the fast pace of our life? Just look what Jesus did. Ask God for help. Learn how to say no. Know when to take a break. And just those little things can help us immensely as we manage our life. We're going to be singing a song where we talk about freedom and freedom reigning in this place. But it starts off with where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. What do you need freedom from today? Where are the areas that the pace of life has got you so run down that you can't cope anymore, that you can't manage life the way you want to? Allow God to step in and to help you through that.